Now, to understand movies and films from more from a business perspective, today we're connected with film producer Robert Ronny. Good morning, Robert. Thank you for joining us today.
Morning,
Good
Robert.
morning. Good morning, guys. Thank you
Hi.
for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you here discussing with us what the film industry look like at the moment. So, could you please explain to us what does the film industry landscape look like at the moment, especially as the government eases pandemic restrictions, as Indonesia is embracing COVID as endemic. So, what is the life of the film industry look like at the moment?
Yeah, film industry, as with other industry during this pandemic, actually is hitting very hard, especially when cinema is closing down almost for 2 years. The cinema starting opening again, if I'm not mistaken, is last year on September 2021. They start closing the cinema starting on March 2020. So yeah, 1 year and a half without cinema at all. So our industry being hit hard. Even though now we have a lot of streamers, online streamers, local or even international in Indonesia, I still believe that the main income for us as filmmakers still cinema. But as I said earlier, film industry in Indonesia actually one of the most resilient industry in Indonesia. When government declared that pandemic started in March 2020 back then, and we cannot shooting anything anymore for almost 6 months. Uh, then we start opening up the shooting industry again on August 2020, if I'm not mistaken. That's when PPKM start being applied throughout the country. But mostly shooting, we keep shooting for some are feature film, some are web series. But there's also, as you might know, because cinema is still closing back then,
Right.
we have to sell some of our feature film directly to streaming platform instead of in cinema.
Right.
One of my films also sell directly to one of the online international online platform, Sobat Ambiar.
Uh-huh.
That actually we plan to release it on Lebaran back then, but
But yeah.
the cinema is closing, so we have to survive.
Right. So recently, because you mentioned that the cinema was open. I mean, the government allowed the cinema to open late last year, and recently there's this amazing phenomenon in the Indonesian film
Yes.
industry where the horror film KKN Desa Penari has attracted so far 7 million viewers.
Wow.
So how do you see this phenomenon? Do you see this as a kind of optimism in the Indonesian film industry that is like resurrecting?
Correction, actually, as per today, it's already reached 8 million
Goodness me.
admissions.
Wow.
Yes, amazing. So this is actually a quite interesting phenomena because it's not only happening in Indonesia, it's also happening in several countries. When the cinema reopen again, the biggest box office of all time being record being broken. It's happened now in Indonesia. It already happened actually in China last year. It happened also in Japan last year with the Demon Slayer, and also happened last year, late last year in Vietnam. So in our neighboring country also there's a new box office record being broken. So I think there's a pent up demand from the audiences because the cinemas has been closing for more than 1 year. So when the cinema open again and there's a right films that being shown in the cinema, people actually flock to the cinema again to watch the movie. Especially in Indonesia, I think cinema going experience still irreplaceable. I think no matter how good your home theater system at home, I think I think you still have to watch movie in a cinema for the experience, because I think watching movie in a cinema is a communal experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Christopher Nolan will agree as well, because there's a lot of movies that were meant to be viewed in the
Yeah.
cinema. So now that we have this kind of like, I believe that we have a bit of a hybrid mindset. I believe that when cinemas first opened as well, the reason people didn't flock right away to the theaters was because people still had this concern. I'm going to be in a room with other people for about 2 hours. Will I be okay? Nowadays, a lot of people have been vaccinated and boosted. People do have a different mindset.
Right.
But with the existence of streaming platforms and the fact that we are now so I don't know what the word for it. The Indonesian word is manja. We're spoiled. I guess
Yeah.
because now,
Yeah.
why go to the theaters when I can just sit at home and stream it?
I must say, I mean, it's like I have developed that sort of like
Little bit, right?
pandemic behavior.
Right.
Like, I don't really want to go out unless it's like, oh yeah, it's something that I need to experience directly.
Exactly.
That is actually a challenge for me, and I need to come on,
Get
get
up-
your
up and
bottom
at
out
it.
there, Marissa.
Face that traffic. But Robert, now how do you see this playing out? Because obviously there's many challenges when people just stream most of their series or movies online. What does that do for you guys? Particularly, we mentioned earlier, in distribution and exhibition, that seems to be a bit of a
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah, for us filmmakers, actually, it's good in a way because now we have more options how we want to show our films, directly to the streamers, or we can go to the theatrical release, As for the audience, I think also this is a good thing because now we have more option to watch movie anywhere that we want. If you're comfortable to go to the cinema, of course you can watch movie at your home in your convenience. I just hope you don't watch it in your mobile phone, at least at least in your TV or your laptop, because
Right.
I think that's how we shoot our movie. We want you to see our movie in the biggest screen possible. But of course, I understand it's a luxury that not everyone have. But right now, you can go to the cinema, and I think if you follow the protocol, I think it's relatively safe experience to go to the cinema nowadays. Me personally, when the cinema started open as I told you, last September, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
I straight away go to the cinema because it's been 1 year and a half.
All right.
But I think to answer the question, I don't think that a cinema and on streamer platform is actually mutually exclusive. I think they complement each other because as a film lover, I think we need both. I mean, for example, I go to cinema, but I also watch movies at my home with online streamer. Of course, not just one. I subscribe to several services. And for some people to actually never go to the cinema anymore,
Yeah.
I think now they can watch movies at their home and in their own conveniences with this online. And actually, there's an interesting fact. There's been a sort of interest of local Indonesian films since the pandemic because a lot of people who never watch Indonesian films in the theaters now they found out that Indonesian films quality actually now rising up
Yeah.
because they're watching on Netflix, on Disney Plus, and so on.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you say that, Robert, because I'm one of those people. I have little kids, so I barely have time to go to the theaters as it is, and I'm very limited to what I can watch.
Exactly.
But I've just started turning on Indonesian films, and I've watched more and more of them, and introducing some of the appropriate ones for my kids.
That's
Well, how
great.
does this behavior affect your bottom line? Great for us, the consumers,
Yeah.
but for you, does that mean less
Yeah.
revenue? What does your revenue stream look like with this sort of behavior?
Like I said, I think it's not mutually exclusive. There's gonna be rival. You have to choose between the theatrical release or online streamer. For us, a filmmaker, I think it's safe to say that I'm willing to produce content for both.
Okay.
We still making movie for theatrical release, but of course we also make a web series and a movie directly streamed to online platform.
Okay.
So I think it's okay. And like I said, it's more option for us.
Yeah.
Right.
Even though, yeah, we have to think differently somehow if we make a web series. because with the web series, the storytelling has to be more complex, and you have to hook people episode and so on.
True.
Absolutely. So how has the pandemic changed the business strategy that you're doing right now? Because it seems that with the multiple streamers, sometimes I see the same film in multiple streamers as
Right.
well. So how does that impact, for example, the exclusivity and also the price, the sales price, and everything?
For brand new films, the films that we haven't released in theatrical release, actually, some of the international streamers offering us quite good money if we go directly to the online streamers. But sometimes we don't do that. Sometimes we do that, but sometimes we don't always sell our film directly to the online streamers because we still believe in theatrical release. As you know now, there's a very big film called KKN making, if I'm not mistaken, around 200 billion rupiah.
Wow.
So there's
Wow.
so there's no way online streamers can pay that much amount of money, right?
Right.
But sometimes we have to see our release strategy also. Not all films can reach that kind of number, right? So sometimes we think, oh, maybe this film is more suitable for online streamers than we sell directly to the online streamers.
Okay.
Okay, well, we're not alone here, Robert. With us as well
Yeah.
for this segment is Kai, who has the list of Indonesia's highest grossing domestically produced films. Kai, take it away.
So Robert, it's good to show you. Well, I'm waiting for the graphics to pop up, but certainly, as mentioned before, KKN Desa Penari tops it at over 8 million right now.
Wow.
As you've actually updated. And the second is Warkop DKI Reborn, Jangkrik Boss Part 1. Part 2 is coming out really soon, right, if I'm not mistaken. And that's with 6,858,616. And of course, the Dilans, 1990 and 1991, is at number 3 and number 4 consecutively at 6,315,664, and of course, 5,253,411. And last but not least, this is a classic, guys. This is all the way from 2008, and it took a while to get this to top this particular one. That is Laskar Pelangi at 4,719,453. 453. So very, very interesting, right? Laskar Pelangi.
Remember that.
I mean, this is one of my absolute favorites. I remember watching this one, and the soundtrack was also really beautiful. The setting was gorgeous. We miss old movies. But back to you guys.
Right. Well, this is
Got
very
it.
interesting, isn't it? I see a pattern here, Robert. One is because KKN Desa Penari became viral on Twitter some time ago. I think it was pre-pandemic, and that's why it was made into a film. So something viral is interesting to explore. And then the second one was nostalgia, right? Warkop DKI,
Right.
it's like you tap into people's nostalgia because they love Dono Kasino Indro. And also Dilan, there's nostalgia as well, life back in the 90s. So do you think this is going to be the future of Indonesian films, especially those who make into the box office?
Yeah, actually, there is one more word that actually more represent what you said. It's called IP.
Ooh.
Yeah, the intellectual property, because I think Dylan is based on a very popular novel. And Warkop DKI, as you said earlier, is based on a very popular series of films that are being played by our legendary comedian, Dono Kasino Indro. And KKN is actually also based on IP, even though it's only a story thread in Twitter back then, but I still consider it an IP because after that thread become viral, they make a book out of it, if I'm not mistaken.
Chris.
So having a known IP is actually easier for us to sell the movie to the audience. the potential audiences at least.
So, Robert, you faced so many challenges over the last couple of years, not only having cinemas shut down, that was just the tip of the iceberg, but even the way you were shooting films. There were times you had to adhere to policies and safety protocols when you were doing a shoot. And I'm sure, I can only imagine, I don't know how it works behind the scenes, but I can only imagine how difficult that must have been. But a lot of those have now, are now behind us. But what challenges do you currently face moving forward as the industry is now being revived again?
Yeah, we still have to do the protocols, by the way.
Oh,
Even though
okay.
the government policy is already lenient, but about shooting and all. But we try to still do the protocol for the safety of our actors, because
Good.
of course we can use mask all the time, but the actors in front of camera cannot, right? So we have to do them good by keep doing the strict protocol during the shooting.
Right.
And actually that's cost us around 20% more, because we have to do the health protocol during the shooting.
Wow.
But I think the biggest challenge for in the Indonesian film industry is actually still the same. Maybe Marisa, Anita can agree with me with this. We're lacking of a good script writer in Indonesia.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's still a problem, I think. Yeah. So this year alone, I have around 6 give or take type project that being developed, feature films and series. It's very hard for us to find a good writer for our project.
Right.
So in the end, we keep working with several same writers over and over again, which I don't think that's a good thing actually for the industry. So I hope Indonesian government also look into this and help us to make a incubation for future writers in Indonesia, I think.
Yeah. I completely agree with you, Robert.
Where does it stand right now? I'm curious because you guys are more in the know about this. Is there the Writers Association or the Writers Guild?
Yeah, we do have the Writers Association.
What is being done to kind of cultivate this sort of?
Well, right now, from what I know is that a lot of film production, including our colleague here, Ronny, is trying to find writers, definitely, because film productions tend to have writers' room, right?
Okay.
And because now they are also challenged to make a lot of series as well because of the streamers. Not only that they cater to the cinemas anymore, they cater to the streamers by making series. Now with series, it's like making a long duration film, right? For example, if you make a mini series, 6 episodes or 8 episodes, and each is probably around 40 minutes or 1 hour, you can imagine it's pretty much making like a 6-hour or 8-hour movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And that has to stand. Each episode has to stand. Otherwise, if you don't make the first episode thrilling enough or engaging enough, immediately you lose,
True.
you lose the attention of your viewers, and that's it, right, Robert?
Yeah, and they won't watch the second episode and the next one.
Yeah.
So I think that's the pretty big challenge. We do have a Indonesian Writing Guild, and we have around 100 members, give or take, writers. But apparently it's not enough for the industry, because now the content demand is
a lot
really
higher.
high.
Yes.
Yeah, and as Marisa Anita said, let's say one series at least requires 3 or maybe 4 writers,
Right.
And now there are like hundreds of series being produced in Indonesia, so we need way more writers than we have right now.
Yeah, I guess it's an increasing challenge considering the demand that keeps going up. And guys like me are now watching Indonesian films and series as well. Anyway, Robert, thank you so much for your time. We really do appreciate this little chat.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Robert.
Good luck with your future.
Success to your
Thank you,
projects.
Marisa. Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.